Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw, and I'm bringing you a Jund Sacrifice Infect Commander. Yeah, from the Edge of Eternities. The new set that's going to be coming out sometime in August. I don't know the exact date yet, but Szarel, Genesis Shepherd, is its name. It costs 2 in Jund colors. Jund is black, red, and green. And I like it because it's combat focused and has the unique creature type that I think will have a bunch of payoffs in the 99. Without further ado, let's read the commander's abilities. So for 2 in Jund, 2/5 body, legendary insect druid, has flying. You may play lands from your graveyard. Whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Szarel's power on up to one other target creature. So let's unpack this real quick. This is a 2/5 flying insect druid. Druid is a creature type that's known to have mana abilities. Insects, I say they're a pretty unique creature type. They're usually better as going wide in tokens and buff anthem effects, and some of them do have some graveyard payoffs. This does not disappoint. You may play lands from your graveyard. That is gross. I automatically thinking about fetch lands. So you literally put a land into play, sack the land forever its ability, and go do something. Yeah. But I got more lands in this video that do other abilities. Yeah. Uh, and these lands are really good because you want to sacrifice that non-token permanent on your turn to put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Szarel's power on up to one other target creature. And guess what that creature is going to be? An infect creature. Hopefully it does at least 10 damage of poison counters to eliminate an opponent. Easy as that. All you got to do is make sure Szarel's Genesis Shepherd's power is pretty high. So you're just not only putting 2 +1/+1 counters on something. But it actually gets pretty gross because you can do that multiple times. Whenever you sacrifice. Yeah. It's not just one time. It's just only on your turn. So that's a nice combat trick right there, if you know what I'm talking about. You go to attack with a 1/1 infect. Maybe it's unblockable, whatever the reason is. You sacrifice a land that has its own sacrifice ability. And let's say Szarel is a 5/7. You get to put 5 +1/+1 counters on that infect creature. Gross. So let me show you some cards. Let's get into it. Well, as soon as I saw this Commander Szarel, I thought of this legendary creature, Bristly Bill, Spine Sower. The reason why it's in my mind because I cracked one in a pack and it was like $40. It's worth like $40 at that time, and I think it was like February. So I know this card by heart. You know, when you crack certain cards, they mean a little bit more to you. Anyway, Bristly Bill, Spine Sower for 1 in a green, 2/2 body, legendary plant druid. He has Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Tap 3 and 2 green, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. First of all, this has Landfall, and if it's paired with Szarel, you get to play lands from your graveyard. That's easy. Then you put a +1/+1 counter on whatever creature that you want. Then just tap 5 mana, 3 and 2 green, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Not one, each. Each. Yeah, that's why it's a $40 card, straight up. Moving on. Now, this is where the new commander shines, is all these sacrificed lands. Let's talk about them real quick. On the left-hand side, Terramorphic Expanse. It's a land. Tap it. Sacrifice this land, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So yeah, you play the land, then you can just sack it for its ability to tutor a land and put it in the battlefield. But when I say combat tricks, when you go to attack with an infect creature or a powerful creature that you want to swing and Szarel's on the battlefield, you can just sacrifice this land and put the number of +1/+1 counters equal to Szarel's power on that target creature. Just like that. Your lands don't get messed up with. Next up is Blighted Woodland. It taps for a colorless, but you tap 4 mana, sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, and put them on the battlefield tapped. Cool. A land that go tutors for lands, then you can bring it back and play it from the graveyard with Szarel and do it again. Okay, next up we got Escape Tunnel. It's a land. Sack it. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Cool. But it also has Sack it. Creatures with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. So maybe your Infect creatures are weak in the beginning, and you just need a player to have a poison counter. Not bad. Not bad. Field of Ruin. Tap it. Okay, tap 2 mana, sacrifice Field of Ruin. Destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. Each player searches their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. This card just gets really abusive because with Szarel, you get to play lands from your graveyard. So you are doing land destruction for non-basic lands. Easy as that. So players want to use their abilities on these lands that they have. Nah, you have the ability to control them. Moving on. So we got our Infect creatures here. First one is Ink Moth Nexus. This card is crazy good. It's a land. Tap it to add a colorless mana. Tap 1 mana. Ink Moth Nexus becomes a 1/1 blink moth artifact creature with flying and infect until end of turn. It's still a land. A land that turns into an infect creature is powerful. This is a staple, straight up. Next up, we got Black Cleave Goblin for 3 and a black 2/1 body goblin zombie. It has haste, perfect to keep in your hand and swing at opponent when they have no blockers. And it has infect on a 2/1 body. So if you sack some other non-token permanent using Szarel's ability, putting a bunch of +1/+1 counters on it, you get enough to take out an opponent with poison counters. Game. Now I'm super excited that I found this card for y'all. Let me talk to you. Iridescent Horn Beetle for 4 and a green. 3/4 body. It's an insect. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each +1/+1 counter you've put on creatures under your control this turn. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me now? Y'all heard that right. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each +1/+1 counter you've put on creatures under your control this turn. So when you've been slapping all those +1/+1 counters on creatures, whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, at your end step, you got a 1/1 base green insect creature that gets a power boost for how many +1/+1 counters you put on creatures this turn. Yeah. All you got to do is boost the power of Szarel, and the +1/+1 counters go crazy. Let's go. So it's like obvious that you can play like a giant growth and boost Szarel's power at instant speed, or other aura enchantments or equipments that boost its power. Yes, you had the luxury of doing that. But let's offer some synergistic stuff, right? Fallen Ideal for 2 and a black, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has flying. We don't care about that. And sacrifice a creature. This creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. So maybe you've gone wide with Szarel. Maybe you have other insects on the battlefield. And you just need to sack them to boost the +2/+1. Maybe they're tokens, so it won't trigger Szarel. But maybe you have another creature that is a non-token creature that you can sacrifice it to give it +2/+1 and trigger the Szarel's ability. Yeah, that's super synergistic. Anyway, this card, when Fallen Ideal is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Fallen Ideal to its owner's hand. Cool. It comes back to your hand once it gets removed. That's a win-win. And it's actually really good. It's only 3 mana. Next up, we got Bravado. This is for 1 and a red. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control. If you plan on going wide with this deck, with all those creature tokens, heck, Szarel could be a, 12, 15, if you got 10 other creatures out on the battlefield. Options. You got options. Yeah, so Szarel, Genesis Shepherd, I think is going to be a really cool commander. If you like combat and you just want to do sacrifice triggers at instant speed to give yourself this combat trick ability, it's not really ability. It's just something you do, really. And payoffs. I think it's going to be fun. Straight up. I can talk all day. I just think this is going to be a fun commander. Straight up. Probably the most popular one, in my opinion. Hey, thank you for watching the video. Make sure you put any other cards that you suggest for this commander. Peace.